Ladies and gentlemen, could we ask you all please to stand and be pleased to receive His Excellency, the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ambassador. Mr. Chairman, Your Excellencies, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, pray silence for Mr. Stephen Hines, Deputy General Manager, Bank of China, London Branch, and Chief Operating Officer of the Bank of China in the UK. Mr. Stephen Hines.
Your Excellency, Ambassador Liu Xiaoming, Chairman of the 48 Group, Mr. Stephen Perry, my lords, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you. Welcome to yet another excellent Chinese New Year dinner, although you haven't eaten it yet, organised by the 48 Group, but on past performance it will be pretty good. My name is Stephen Hines and I'm speaking to you in place of Mr. Sun Yu, who is the Bank of China's General Manager in the UK and the CEO of Bank of China UK Limited. I'll do my best to replace Mr. Sun, but I suspect he's probably a better speaker than I am, even in English, I think. So it's my pleasure to open the event this evening. As you will know, according to the Chinese calendar, 2016 is the year of the monkey, and I'm told by my colleagues at work, who know a lot more about these things than I do, that people born, or anybody born in the monkey years, are self-assured, clever, intelligent, creative in their work, and most especially they are usually successful in business. So I offer my congratulations to all these fortunate people, and especially those that are with us this evening. I've worked for Bank of China for 11 years, and in that time it's been my pleasure to attend a number of icebreaker events. On behalf of Bank of China and all of the guests, I wish to express our appreciation to the 48 Group, and in particular to Mr. Stephen Perry, the Group Chairman, for the extraordinary efforts that they make in order to make sure that these evenings are very special. I think they work extremely hard. Bank of China's relationship with the 48 Group started over 60 years ago, when the London Export Corporation led 48 companies to commence trading with the then recently established People's Republic of China. And Bank of China provided the first letter of credit for this transaction because at that time, Bank of China was the only Chinese bank operating outside the PRC. And in complete contrast, here in 2016, we can see that all the major Chinese banks have operations here. Others are applying for banking licenses as we speak. And Chinese banks are established all across the EU and the rest of the world. The international expansion of the Chinese banks, the internationalisation of the renminbi itself, and the Chinese government's One Belt, One Road initiative have fundamentally changed perceptions of China across the world, and in particular in the international financial markets. The continuing expansion of trade between China and the UK is clear evidence not only of the real progress made by the Chinese financial services industry and the economy generally, but of course the increasingly positive relationship between the UK and China. Increases in both investment in the UK by Chinese companies and the progress being made at intergovernmental level regarding long-term infrastructure projects are both welcome, and they reflect the openness of the UK both to China and to Chinese business. At this point, I'd like to acknowledge the important role played by the 48 Group in working to ensure the relationship between the UK and China develops in accordance with the group's own mission statement, one that is based on equality and mutual benefit. On a lighter note, when Mr. Sun asked me to speak at this event, he suggested that I should include a joke. Unfortunately, I've researched the difference between Western and Chinese humour on the internet and found they are really very different. So I've decided as an alternative that I would offer a quotation from Confucius that you may consider to be appropriate here. The quotation is, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." And I think this message resonates today. It's still as true as it always was. That's really all I have to say. In conclusion, I'd like to extend my best wishes to you all for good health and financial success in 2016. And I'd like to thank you for your attention. It's now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Stephen Ball, the Senior Partner of KPMG, who is also going to speak to you. So please welcome Stephen to the stage.
Good evening, Your Excellency, Madam Hu, Mr. Chairman, Lords, Ladies and Gentlemen. A very happy Chinese New Year of the Monkey to everyone. China and Asia has a special place in my head and in my heart. Annette and I started off our married life there. Both our children were born there. And for the past 23 years, or at least that's what I'm told is the length of time I've been married, we've been back and forth. It's a great honour and privilege to introduce the 48 Group and the KPMG UK-China Business Awards for 2016. This year has been amazing, the beginning of a golden era of relations between China and the UK for the 21st century. $100 billion of trade between our two countries, and a landmark super state visit by the President of China. What a wonderful celebration of our global partnership and our special relationship. Tonight, this dinner marks a milestone year for UK-China trade and relations. We are honoured tonight to have His Excellency give the keynote speech. Your Excellency, many, many congratulations to you and your team at the Embassy for the huge success of the President's visit. And congratulations too to Minister Councillor Jin Chu, who has made such an enormous impact in his first year back in London. And we are very, very lucky to have the man who invented the term BRICS. Our government's commercial secretary to the Treasury, who is negotiating the important path to economic progress. The world-famous economist, Lord Jim O'Neill. And of course, congratulations to the UK government, the Treasury and the Foreign Office for bringing decades of global diplomacy and hard work to fruition, and for their continued commitment to UK-China relations and commercial prosperity. KPMG is a loyal and long-term supporter of the 48 Group and these business awards. We are committed to work hard to build strong relations between the UK and China. We work hard to help our UK clients, banks, companies and businesses enter the Chinese market, and to advise our Chinese companies to enter the UK. China continues to invest in key UK sectors, financial services, where we're working with many of the major Chinese banks and financial institutions. Energy, power, and infrastructure, including nuclear, wind farms, oil and gas, transport, and utilities. Property and regeneration. In London, HS2, the Northern Powerhouse, and the Midlands Engine. And emerging sectors like media, gaming, and sport, including the recent investment, and please forgive me, Jim and Matt, including the recent investment into Manchester City Football Club. KPMG is honoured and privileged to be working with our Chinese client companies and banks investing in all these exciting sectors. And now, it's my great pleasure to invite onto the stage to present the 48 Group and KPMG UK China Business Awards. The man who does such a fantastic and important job as the ambassador of the People's Republic of China to the UK. Your Excellency. I begin with the 48 Group KPMG Award for UK Investment into China. The winner has been working in China for over a decade, a journey to today where Whitbread has 350 Costa Coffee outlets in China and counting. I'm delighted to invite the chairman of Costa Coffee China, Simon Barrett, to receive the award on behalf of the winner, Whitbread plc.
Well, I am Your Excellencies, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, and chairman. I'm absolutely delighted to be receiving this award on behalf of both Whitbread and Costa. And as you were speaking, Stephen, then I was wondering what Sam Whitbread might have been wondering when he first started a beer company in 1742 in the middle of the city, brewing beer, to think that someone would be coming up receiving an award for exporting coffee and a coffee business to China. And he'd be absolutely amazed, but delighted, I'm sure, because he was an innovative businessman. I also think the Costa brothers would be wondering about this as well. In 1971, two Italian twins came over and decided to civilise us with a better type of coffee, and came over and started opening Costa stores and roasting coffee beans in Lambeth, which we still do today. The coffee that you drink in China is roasted in Lambeth and exported from here. And I think they would also be astounded and really, really pleased to see what had happened to their brand in the time that it's been owned. They might also wonder whether they should have asked a little bit more money for it, however. Whitbread decided to invest in China in 2005 and saw that there was a huge opportunity with the growing middle class and the prosperity in the country in China. And we still see that opportunity today. Due to the size of the market and the size of the prize that we thought that was going to be there, we decided not to adopt a franchise model, but to use our equity model to invest ourselves. But in view of the cultural differences and the many differences in China, we decided to seek local partners to assist us in that development. And we were very, very fortunate to have found two partners, one in the north, the Beijing Hualian Group, and another in the south, the Guangzhou Ueda Group, who became our joint venture partners, and I'm pleased to say they are still our partners in China today. And that is a very important theme that I've seen from the short time I've been involved in China, and I do think it is a short time, the 10 years. It's not easy to establish a business so far away in such a different culture, and it is so important to have the right friends and the right partners to assist. And I know from Chinese culture how important these personal relationships are to the business, and we're very fortunate to have found them. And I hope tonight I'll be able to make some more friends who will be able to help us establish the business even more in China. Now, actually, Stephen, we're getting towards 400 stores now. We've opened a few more during the year, which is not as many as our enemy Starbucks, but we are going to we're going to sort of try and make sure that we catch up with them in due course. So I say we're very, very honoured to receive this award, and thank you again, the 48 Group and KPMG, for deciding to recognise us. But we see this as being very, very early days. But we have strong confidence in our business and in the China market. And just to reinforce something Stephen said, we were delighted to see the President visit last year. I was lucky enough to be at one of the events where he spoke to people at the Mansion House, and it was a very, very inspiring speech which reinforced the strong trade links between our two countries and talked about a golden age of our trading relationship. And the new 5-year plan that's being developed for business and other aspects of Chinese life, to us is absolutely right, because it gives us confidence in establishing a long-term environment for profitable growth, not just pure growth in stores, but profitable growth. And as I started, Whitbread has been around since 1742. We invest for the long term, and we're delighted that China is investing for the long term as well, and we look forward to our continued involvement in the country for many, many years to come. So thank you very much indeed to you all for this excellent award. Thank you very much.
And one more award. And now, and one more award. And now the 48 Group KPMG Award for Chinese Investment into the UK. And the winner, chosen by the Business Awards Selection Committee, chaired by Stephen Perry, Chairman of the 48 Group, is AVIC International. I am thrilled to invite Chairman Wu to accept the award for Chinese investment into the UK.
Thank you. Chairman Stephen Perry, Ambassador Liu Xiaoming, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. As the Chinese New Year of the Monkey approaches, it is a pleasure for me to attend the New Year dinner hosted by the 48 Group Club and gather with entrepreneurs from China and the UK to exchange ideas and explore opportunities. At this occasion, I'd like to extend gratitude to the 48 Group Club for your presenting the 48 Group Club KPMG Award for Chinese investment into the UK to AVIC International. And I'd like also to take this opportunity to thank KPMG team here for their excellent professional services in AVIC International's acquisition of M-Attitude. AVIC International is a diversified multinational enterprise with a 37-year history. As an important member of China's aviation industry, AVIC International takes the responsibility of exploring international market, developing related industries, and expanding international investment. Over the past 3 decades, we have established a profound partnership with enterprises from UK and all over the world. In the 1970s, the technology transfer project of Bay Engine from Rolls-Royce has become a fine beginning and a symbol of Sino-British aviation industry cooperation. And Avic International accumulated rich experience and talents. At the dawn of the new century, in order to further engage in the world aviation industry, Avic International keeps exploring overseas investment opportunities by acquiring American companies Continental Motors and Line Aerospace, German company Tillard, Spanish company Aeritax, and for this year, the British company AIM Attitude. In the process of negotiation, Avic International and Tower Brook, the seller, had frank and honest talks. We not only appreciate rich talents, leading technologies, resources, and mature management experience possessed by British aviation manufacturing industry, but also the professionalism and cooperative spirit reflected by British colleagues who are willing to share market opportunities and customer resources with AIM attitude and hope to reach a win-win. Today, China's economy has stepped into a new normal phase. Under the guidance of the 13th five-year plan and driven by the Made in China 2025, China will commit itself to the development goals of constructing an advanced manufacturing country, highlighting the ideas of innovation, coordination, green, opening up, and sharing. Facing such historical opportunities, Chinese enterprises are sure to further seek and enhance international cooperation and overseas investments. The icebreaking spirit initiated by the 48 Group 60 years ago makes UK the first Western power to undertake economic and trade cooperation with the People's Republic of China. Now, China-UK relationship has entered into a golden era after Chinese President Xi visit to UK last year. We firmly believe that the 48 Group will continuously play a unique and active role for this bilateral cooperation. Avic International considers the UK as one of the most important countries for international cooperation and overseas investment. With the opportunity of acquisition of AIM Attitude, we will deepen this cooperation with the UK's aviation and the related industries. Finally, I wish a Happy New Year and a good health to all of you. Thank you.
We would like to invite Chairman Stephen Parry to the stage, please, Mr. Parry, to join in with the photograph, and also Simon Barrett of Costa. If you bring your award with you, please. Let's have a group photograph with Stephen and the Ambassador. And as soon as this photograph's been taken, ladies and gentlemen, the banqueting staff are going to serve you your starter, which is, I'm sure, what you've been looking forward to. It's imminent, I promise you. Why don't we give everybody on the stage here a big round of applause? Thank you. There we are. Bon appetit.
Mr. Chairman, Your Excellency, my Lords, ladies and gentlemen, it may be unusual, but could I ask you all please to stand and pray silence for Mr. Na Wei, General Manager of Air China UK, who will now propose the loyal toast. Please would you stand? The Queen. Please remain standing for a toast to the President of the People's Republic of China.
习近平
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, Mr. Up onto the stage, I'm going to invite Chairman Stephen Perry, and he's accompanied by the Right Honourable the Lord McNally, and we've got two cabin crew from Cathay Pacific. Please come on the stage. And we have Adrian Bastow, UK Sales and Marketing Manager of Cathay Pacific, and we've got Andrew Appleby of Shangri-La. Please come here on the stage. So, the first prize, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have the bucket in the middle. Bucket over here. There we are. And Lord McNally is going to draw the winner of the Cathay Pacific. It's 2 business class return tickets to a major city in China. And don't announce it, we want Mr. Adrian Bastow to announce it. And I've got a magic microphone right here. Okay.
Congratulations to Diana 1.
Please come on up, Diana, collect your prize. Come in front of the lectern here. You're next. Pose, picture. Cathay, please come this way. One each side. There you are, one at each end. Stay there now, except for you, please, if you don't mind leaving the stage. Congratulations. Have you got anyone to go with you? No? Okay. I'll come and see you later. It's now time for the Shangri-La Prize, ladies and gentlemen. This is a 9-night stay at a Shangri-La hotel in Chengdu, Shanghai, or Beijing. Or is it all three? All three? 9 nights in each?
3 nights.
3 in each. Well, it's still a wonderful prize. Andrew Appleby, you're going to get near the bucket. You're going to announce the winner of this prize, which Lord McNally has pulled for you. Here's the microphone.
Congratulations go to Christopher Brett of CBRE.
What's the photograph? Shangri-La, lady, this side, one of you, make a sandwich. One at each end. Thank you. Congratulations and thank you to the award donors of Cathay Pacific and Shangri-La. My pleasure to invite to the stage Mr. James Chen, President of the Vodafone account of Huawei Technologies. Please show him your welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Good evening, Your Excellency, my lords, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored to be here this evening to say a few words on behalf of Huawei. With any new year, as well as looking forward, we're also looking back to the past year to see what we have achieved. I think we all agree that 2015 was a significant year between UK and China. Following the highly successful state visit of President Xi Jinping, both governments are now talking of a new gold area in relations between both countries. As one of China's largest investors in UK, with over 1,100 employees here and working with the UK's world-leading telecom providers, such as Vodafone, which is our biggest client outside China. I got some friends sitting there. Huawei is very pleased to be playing its part to contributing to this progress. Over the last 3 years, from 2012 to 2014, Huawei's contribution to the UK GDP was estimated at £956 million, and we support over 7,400 jobs in the UK, directly and indirectly. As we look ahead, 2016 is an important year for Huawei in the UK. Later this year, we will celebrate 15 years of our operations here. This important milestone demonstrates our long-term commitment to the UK, to our customers, in delivering a better connected world. One program that is very important for us is our Seeds for the Future program. We believe it is vital to ensure that we equip the next generation of STEM graduates with the skills and knowledge to succeed in the information age. And this summer, we will receive over 40 UK undergraduates in China for a month, and where they will have the opportunity to visit our headquarters in Shenzhen and receive technical training from some of the finest professionals in the industry. Finally, I want to thank the 48 Group Club for once again organizing this excellent evening. As proud long-term partners for the 48 Group Club, we are very pleased to be supporting this evening dinner again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to, on behalf of Huawei, to introduce to you the Ambassador, Mr. Liu Xiaoming, to the stage. Please join me welcome Mr. Liu to the stage. Thank you.
Chairman Perry, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin, I have the pleasure, and I was asked, in fact, by Secretary Meng Jianzhu to read out his message of congratulations for tonight's dinner. As you know, that Secretary Meng is a Secretary of Political and the Legal Affairs Commission of the CPC Central Committee. He made a very successful visit last year to prepare for the state visit of President Xi to the United Kingdom. And he had a very good meeting with Chairman Perry when he visited China last year. The message reads as follows. On the occasion of the Icebreakers annual Chinese New Year dinner, I'd like to extend my warm congratulations and best wishes to all the guests. Happy Chinese New Year. For more than 6 decades, the Icebreakers spirit has inspired generations of members of 48 Group Club. In this spirit, they have blazed new trails and worked creatively to promote business ties and cultural exchanges between China and the UK. Their efforts have resulted in deeper mutual understanding and friendship between the peoples of our two countries. They have played an active role in continuous and steady growth of China-UK relations. The Chinese government and the Chinese people will never forget their valuable contribution. China and UK enjoy ever-growing ties despite geographical distance between us. The past year is a milestone in the history of our ties. President Xi Jinping paid a landmark state visit to the UK. Our two countries announced their commitment to building a global, comprehensive, strategic partnership for the 21st century. A golden era for enduring, open, and win-win China-UK relationship has begun. During President's state visit, China and UK signed a business deals valued at £40 billion. China became a partner in the Hinkley Point C project and issued its first overseas RMB-denominated central bank bills in London. Moreover, our two countries have agreed to assign our development strategies more closely to maximize our respective strengths. This is how our cooperation will defy mathematics and make 1 + 1 bigger than 2. All these achievements would be simply impossible without friends like 48 Group Club joining in and working together. I would like to take this opportunity to extend my heartfelt thanks to all those who have contributed to the growth of China-UK relations. China-UK are both major countries with a global influence. Greater cooperation between us will not only bring greater benefits to our two peoples, it will also make greater contribution to the world economic development. In 2016, we must be keenly aware of our shared ambition and responsibility. We must fully implement the agreements reached by our leaders, deepen win-win cooperation, achieve common development, and bring our ties to a new high. I hope that in the coming year, China and UK will work together even more closely so that our cooperation in various fields will bear more fruitful results. May joy and luck be with you all in the year of the monkey. I wish 48 Group Club greater success and every guest a happy and prosperous new year. Meng Jianzhu. So this is the end of Secretary Meng's message. Ladies and gentlemen, it is really a pleasure for me to join you tonight at Icebreaker's Chinese New Year dinner. I've been invited to this celebration every year since I became Chinese ambassador to the UK 6 years ago. And I always enjoy celebrating the Chinese New Year together with all of you. Though the event looks similar every year, its themes kept evolving. That is not surprising because China is developing and the China-UK relations is growing. 6 years ago, nothing can compare with what we have achieved today. The unprecedented width and depth of the relations between our two great countries, and exchanges and cooperation between our two countries in all fields. Many of today's reality were hardly imaginable back then. 6 years ago, who would have imagined China becoming a partner in UK's nuclear power plant? Who would have imagined China's investment in the UK in the past 3 years exceeding the total of the previous 30 years? Who would have foreseen London as RMB offshore trading center? And there are more unimaginables. BBC spent nearly 3 years making the documentary, The Story of China. I hope there will be place for me to do this advertising for BBC documentary. It's really a good documentary movies. I encourage you to see them. And Chinese New Year celebration at the Trafalgar Square, with the parades, performances, and fireworks, are the largest of its kind outside Asia. Chinese math teachers were invited to teach in primary and secondary schools here, and Prime Minister Cameron asked every child in Britain to master the times table. I hope the children are listening to him. Fans in China express as much dissatisfaction and disappointment when Downton Abbey said goodbye as enthusiasm and expectations for the new season of Sherlock Holmes. Talking about expectations, every time I attend Icebreakers dinner, I'm full of expectations for the new year. Tonight I have two expectations, one for China's development, the other for China-UK relations. I have high expectations for continuous development in China in the new year. 2016 marks the beginning of China's 13th five-year plan, responding to the latest challenges China faces. The 13th five-year plan comes up with 5 key development concepts, namely innovation, balanced growth, green economy, opening up, and inclusive development. China now is at a crucial stage of economic shift and upgrading. We are running the last mile before the goal of completing the building of a moderately prosperous society. China's economy is entering a phase of what we call the new normal, with moderate growth but improved economic structure. The 13th five-year plan, together with its 5 concepts, not only maps out China's development in the next 5 years, it will help put China's growth on a more solid foundation and create opportunities for sustained growth in the long run. In 2016, the opening year of the 13th five-year plan, China will double its efforts to adapt to the new normal, understand the new normal better, and get ahead the new normal. China will stick to the adjustment of economic structure. China will further increase its domestic demand. China will enhance the supply-side reform. China will work for a more innovation-driven economy. It is my firm belief that Chinese economy in 2016 will progress steadily towards a promising future. In 2016, I also have high expectations for China-UK relations. President Xi's super state visit to the UK last year achieved landmark results and opened the golden era for the relations between our two countries. In the first year of this golden era, we must do our best to follow through the outcomes of President Xi's visit and make concrete efforts to bolster exchanges and cooperation in all fields. We must work for closer, high-level exchanges and enhance strategic communications between our two countries at high level. We must deepen our result-oriented cooperation. We must focus on increasing cultural and people-to-people exchanges. And we must strengthen our coordination on global affairs. In the first few days of 2016, China and the UK announced together that we will issue 2-year multiple entry visas on the reciprocal basis. This is a firm step forward to facilitate mutual visits. It will effectively reinforce our communication and cooperation in many fields. I'm confident that as long as China and UK bear in mind the overall picture and long-term interest in our relations, and as long as we accumulate every bit of progress with perseverance, we will build a lasting, open, and a win-win relationship. The year 2016, as everyone knows, is the year of the monkey. In Chinese culture, monkey symbolizes quick wit, sweet action, and great ability. So you can think a lot of good things about monkey. According to Chinese calendar, this year's monkey is paired with a symbol of the sun. The fiery sun is always regarded as a sign of vigor and prosperity. So the folklore has this, that this is the year of vigorous red monkey. But I saw most of the monkeys on the table are brown in color. But it makes not much difference. You have to remember, vigorous red monkey, because it's paired with the symbol of the sun this year. It carries people's best wishes for red, hot prosperity and vigorous progress. With this, I wish every one of you a happy and prosperous new year of the monkey. Thank you.
And now let's welcome our next speaker, the Right Honourable the Lord O'Neill, who is the Commercial Secretary to Her Majesty's Treasury. Lord O'Neill, please take to the stage. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Good evening. Ambassador, Madam Wu, Lords, ladies, gentlemen, and icebreakers. It is a huge privilege for me to be here in this capacity as a Minister. I have been a friend of the icebreakers and the 48 group for a long time, and never did I think I would be stood talking to you at a Chinese New Year as a Minister. But there you go. You never know quite what's around the corner. And this is a huge privilege. I also cannot resist the temptation from some of the things said earlier this evening, especially in view of the very enlightening words the Ambassador just said there. I think I heard you talk about the red monkey. I vaguely remember something from earlier in this evening about Chinese investments in Manchester City. As I look around this room, everything is red. And any of you who had the pleasure of being at the Guildhall earlier this year, late last year, when President Xi gave his wonderful speech there, he mentioned Chinese interest in football and cited two clubs, Arsenal and Manchester United. I don't know which was worse for Arsenal or Manchester United of the weekend that's just gone, but that's by the by. But I cannot resist in saying, in the spirit of the recognition of the Chinese investments in Manchester City, there's a lot of people of influence in this room. Please help Manchester United. Anyhow, I guess I should talk a little bit about my day job. I thought I'd touch on two things. First of all, in the spirit of the ambassador's wonderful comments, I entered the government about 8 months ago. One of the main reasons I accepted the Chancellor's invitation was when I realised, when he called me up, the Monday after the election, that was the first time this idea appeared. It was primarily, of course, about delivering the so-called Northern Powerhouse, but he mentioned quickly afterwards about his own depth of interest in China, and it was really when he said that I thought it would be worth me giving up aspects of my previously very enjoyable life to enter the strange world of politics and economic policy influencing. And here I am. And by coincidence, and to an enormous amount of credit to the Chancellor and the Prime Minister as well as his counterparties in China, we find ourselves at this very exciting position, as the Ambassador has mentioned, about this so-called golden era. I often think of a phrase from my past life of enlightened self-interest. And it seems to me that we are at this remarkable coincidence of time where China has embarked on this, as we can see, not unchallenging time of transition, but one that will bear considerable fruit, again in the spirit of what the Ambassador's just said. And the UK, in my judgment, if it applies the appropriate balance of focus and diplomacy, and with consideration for all the things that the UK truly has an edge relative to the rest of the world, this indeed is in our own enlightened self-interest to help China achieve the next phase of its suitably ambitious goals. And it's a privilege to be part of, and a privilege to try and help us deliver our side of that bargain. And I look forward, Ambassador and your colleagues, and many of you here from the business world, to helping both us and our friends in China to progress this further on a number of fronts. We meet at a time where it's of course, to be candid, popular in the world I used to exist to be rather sceptical about China's progress. And I had the pleasure of chatting to some of the media before we came in here today, and I smiled because I kind of knew the questions that would be likely come my way, with Mr. Brick being sort of stuck across my forehead for the rest of my life. But let me put some of it in what I think is a more appropriate context. It's reported by many that China's growth last year at 6.9% is the weakest for 25 years. But 6.9% when you are more than $10 trillion is a bit different than 6.9% for most. And I could bore you endlessly in terms of the context of thinking about that. But for the UK to be having the same impact, my boss will probably kill me for saying this, but for us to have the same impact on world activity, the UK would have had to have reported 22.5% GDP growth. It is much touted, not least because it is fact, that India's real GDP growth is now faster than that of China, but for India to have the same impact as China with 6.9% real GDP growth, India would have to have grown by 34.5% last year. So we need to keep all of this in some kind of perspective. It is also the case that China growing by this kind of rate would still deliver for somebody like myself as Mr. Brick the growth that I had assumed China would do for the whole of this decade 6 years ago. This morning I spent some time scribbling some numbers down, and so far, decade to date, China is the only one of the 4 BRICS that has still actually grown by more than I assumed would be the case in 2010. In fact, it averages 8.2%. So even if China grew by only 6.3% the rest of this decade, it would average for the whole of the decade 7.5%. And I think for the other BRICS, to some degree India included, they would probably happily swap positions. Much more importantly than whatever the rate of GDP growth, the composition of how China's GDP is changing, in particular, as this latest data very clearly shows, the rise of the services sector and the rise of the consumer relative to the other parts of the economy are very much, in my judgment, in China's 1.3 billion people own long-term interest, and bringing back to what I said earlier, very much in the short, medium and long-term interests of us here in the UK. And it is by that goal and with this movement towards that goal that in terms of my role as a minister and helping our Chancellor and Prime Minister deliver on what's right for the UK, that we will continue to focus on our ongoing productive discussions with China. And so whether it be our focus in helping the very exciting development of One Belt or One Road, and the remarkable opportunities that unveils for businesses around the world, ourselves included, or whether it be for the parallel and of importance exciting developments of the Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank, of which I had the privilege of representing the UK in signing our involvements, or whether it be for our own very equally exciting Northern Powerhouse, of which we're looking forward in our next economic and financial dialogue to inviting amongst Chinese policymakers and with them leaders of Chinese western and northern cities to come along and join in a more intensive and lengthier discussion about things we might be able to explore together, or whether it be in many of the other things that all of you here are probably more focused on in daily and weekly activities of your lives, whether it be finance, health, education or culture, or pure raw business activities. It seems to me the way China wants to develop, the way, frankly, the world needs China to develop in terms of being the most important marginal consumer for world economic activity for the rest of this decade and beyond, it remains very much our goal to help China along that exciting path. And so with that, let me stop and thank you, Chairman Perry. It's got a very nice ring to it, Stephen, that has, for inviting me to say a few words, and especially for those of you that want to help Manchester United get back to its rightful place. I might even stay around for a drink afterwards. Thank you very much.
So, thank you very much, Lord O'Neill. We're approaching the end, and we're going to do that in style with the chairman, but not until
somebody related very closely to him, Jodie Perry, presents herself here on stage with a giant donation cheque. I'll let her describe or reveal it to you, which she is going to present on behalf of the Chinese Welfare Trust to Mei Sim Lai, the treasurer of 48 Group Club, which is he with us? Please come up to the stage. And photographers on standby. This is unrepeatable, it's unrehearsed, and we're looking forward to seeing how it envelops. Folds is the word. There we go. Here we are. So let's have a round of applause for Jodie Perry and Mei Sim Lai. And in case you didn't see, it's for £5,000. So I promised you a spectacular finale. So, Chairman Stephen Perry, please, would you come to the stage and send us home with your warm words, and leave it all to you, sir. Thank you
very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed. What a wonderful master of ceremonies. Your Ambassador, Lords, ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year to you all. And may I thank you all very much indeed for your support for tonight's dinner, which enabled us to make that contribution to the Chinese Welfare Trust, which reminds me always about not only the successful Chinese businessmen from all over the world who've come to the UK, but all the many Chinese who've come here and worked many restaurants, takeaways, and many different jobs up and down the country, who have not been quite so fortunate and who need the help and assistance in order to get through their daily life. And this cheque goes to an organisation which is committed to helping the Chinese people here in the UK, the British Chinese. And thank you also from all of us to them. Thank you. From all of my family, Graham, my brother who's here tonight, Sam, my son who's a monkey, in many ways. We've seen him with me the whole time. From all of us, and from all in the 48 group to all our guests, a Happy New Year and thank you for being with us. And it is special Chinese New Year, but it's also special to these gentlemen walking around in funny clothes tonight who are celebrating Burns Night. So, take care. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say I was just talking to Ambassador Liu, and I asked him when did he start to learn English, and it was in 1973 when Zhou Enlai, as a result of Nixon's trip to China, encouraged the learning of English in China. It was about that time that I made my first trip to China, and it was to cement the relationship between America and China that was just opening up, and we sold polyester and other goods from America to China. So our paths were crossing already at that stage, Ambassador, and in the years that you've been here, and I've got to know you, we've got so much in common, and I've enjoyed learning from you about your years in the United States, which of course is a country I've spent a lot of time in as well. When you came here 6 years ago, I think it was, we just had an election. And I remember coming to see you with Lord McNally, Tom McNally. And Tom explained to you about the outcome of the general election and talked to you about the possibility of a coalition. And you asked me, what is a coalition? I said, well, I'm not really sure, but we may see one coming up. And that was your introduction to British politics, fresh from that pulsating city, Pyongyang in North Korea, where you had come from. Ambassador, you talked about the unimaginables. During your time here, we've seen an enormous transformation in British-Chinese relations. And what happened last year was beyond the expectation of the founders of the 48 Group back in the early 50s. And, of course, it had to do with a number of different factors and features. But when I describe the state visit as a state visit with Chinese characteristics, it is a tribute to you, and of course your wife, and all the members of your embassy, by the way you worked with our government to produce a state visit beyond that we've ever seen in this country before. So, Ambassador, I'm sure I speak for everybody in this room when I say that we have decided for only the third time to give a lifetime award to somebody for their contribution to Sino-British relations, and that is to you, Ambassador Liu. Thank you very much indeed.
Out of the bag.
We'll get that to you in just a while. Out of the bag. And Ambassador, I think it's also your year.
This is really unexpected. It's not part of the program. I've been not informed that I will be a recipient of this very honored award. So I have no prepared speech, just a few words from my heart. I would regard this as an encouragement for me to carry on my duty, to contribute my best part, my best work, together with my team, my embassy staff, to work for a golden era of China-UK relations. Normally, ambassador receive this kind of award towards the end of his tour of duty. So that's why I didn't expect this, because I do not know how long my term will be. Because by last September, when the Queen Elizabeth II celebrated her being the longest reigning monarch in the UK, we just at the embassy celebrating me as the longest serving Chinese ambassador in London. I'm really be frank with you. It's not diplomatic words that I do not know how long I will be here. During President Xi's visit, he has been reminded at least 3 times that Britain needs this very capable ambassador. So I think, Steve Perry, you were there when President Xi had a meeting with 14 friends of China. I mean, those who worked for better relations between our two countries. Chairman Perry is one of them. It's supposed to be the 3 person of the 14 people to make remarks so that we can have a president have more time, to make his comments. But the friends of China kept going on and on without stop. And, the Foreign Minister Wang reminded me, Ambassador Liu, I think it's about time to call it a halt. And, I want to be friends with everybody. I don't want to play a bad man. So I asked my former deputy, Chief of Protocol, Qin Gang, to play a bad guy. And he also wants to be a friend of UK, so he just showed his face without saying a word. So nobody, gave a glimpse of him and keep going on and on. So then finally I found, President is running late. so I have to play that bad guy. It's the turn of Charles Paul, Lord Paul. It's his turn to speak. You know, I have to breathe, I have to sacrifice my friendship with him. I say, Lord Paul, we are running late. I want to invite President Xi to make concluding remarks. And Lord Paul gazed at me and then turned to the president saying, I'm going to be very brief. He said, President, I think everybody spoke. I think I can speak on behalf of everyone present today that you got very capable ambassador and we hope you will not call him back. And President Xi responded by saying, you are the third person to say this. So, thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Ambassador Liu, we are waiting to give you the Eternal Lifetime Award. So thank you very much indeed, Ambassador Liu. And if I can say, I guess you begin to feel you're getting old when you know to call lords by their first name. Jim, thank you for speaking. You're the only minister I have ever heard speak without reading a speech. And that told me that what you were talking about was what you thought about and what you felt, not what had been written for you. And I'm not surprised by that at all, because since the first time I met you, I knew that you were somebody who thought deeply about the world of economics, the world of countries, relationships, and that your job in government would only have been taken by you if you thought you could make a difference. And you will make a difference, and you are making a difference. And I want to thank you very much indeed for being here. And we did make everything in red, but it was for another club. And as much as I like Manchester... as much as I like Manchester... Anyway, Jim, thank you very much indeed for being with us. I hope your return to the championship is... No. Noise is off stage left. It's appropriate for me to thank our sponsors, Huawei, Bank of China, KPMG, Accenture, Global, Cathay, Shangri-La, and to thank our staff and Wendy Bond for the lovely illustration. And I want to thank also what was called CEAB, now called CCC, China Chamber of Commerce, for their association and support for us. And we hope to deepen that support and that relationship in next year's dinner. The China Chamber of Commerce is going to be an emerging and major feature of Sino-British relations in the UK. Watch that space. I could talk at length about the Silk Roads, but I think as the evening is getting on, I will cut that part of my speech. But I would like to remember that as we made those nice words tonight about Ambassador Liu, it's only a year since we said the same about Geoffrey Howe, who sat here and took a lifetime award from Michael Heseltine. And Geoffrey was a wonderful man. And Ambassador, a few years ago we had the Year of the Sheep. I forget who was the ambassador, but he asked me to explain why we were giving a sheep to a former Chancellor of the Exchequer who was not a sheep. And I said, well, it had something to do with a resignation speech and a comment by the leader of the opposition, and he still couldn't understand that reference with Geoffrey Howe, of course, to that very special moment in British political history. But you know, Geoffrey wrote me a letter after that evening, and he wrote about how amusing it was when he went home on the tube carrying a sheep. But didn't that for me, sum up the association of Geoffrey Howe and so some of the things that President Xi Jinping has been saying. President Xi Jinping has been saying you can only lead a country if you identify with, feel, and understand the people. And Geoffrey Howe was one of the people. He was an ordinary person like everybody else, and a wonderful man, and I'm glad that Elspeth is here with us tonight. Thank you. So it's the year of the monkey. Where's Jeff Morrow? Come here, Geoffrey. Come here, Jeff. Jeff's company, Global, are the sponsors of the monkey. I'm going to ask Jeff to join me on stage. Global is a company that's been associated with the 48 Group for many years. Your chairman, is it? We're into chairman tonight. Johnny Hon has been a vice president of the 48 Group Club for many years. And I'd like to thank you for your association with tonight. You put on Sunset Boulevard at the Palladium.
Oh my God, we're getting
we're getting dirty, aren't we?
Thank you so much.
And is it true you've got 42nd Street coming up?
We hope so.
Okay, a few of my family would like to audition. That's why. Jeff, thank you very much indeed for your sponsorship. And if I could ask two monkeys to join us up here, I'd like you to present those two ladies with the Year of the Monkey Awards. Angela Rippon, who first came to know us in 1992. Do you remember, Angela? You came to lunch. Where are you, Angela? Will you join us? As you're walking up here, Angela, I just want to remind you that you came for lunch at our first Chinese New Year with the chairman of the Conservative Party, Chris Patten, who then went on to be governor of Hong Kong, made a speech, and the next day the ambassador, at that time, Ma Yuzhen, rang me and said, "You know your friend?" And I said, "Who?" Never heard. That was the lunch we had together. And Angela went on to be the first person to broadcast live from Beijing.
Yes.
So, congratulations on the Year of the Monkey. And the other monkey I want to invite to join us is Elspeth. Elspeth Howe, Lady Elspeth Howe, who's joined us from So I think we'll give. Oh, thank you, Angela. Jeff, do you want to give the monkey to Elspeth, and I'll thank you for the monkey to give you the monkey. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Could I ask? It's there we are. Yeah, you've got to take the monkeys out of the bag. You're a salesman. It's on 10% for every monkey sold tonight. There we are. Okay. Just a quick flash. Lovely. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. So, there we are. Yeah.
Can I just say, so it was that very first lunch, and at that time it was on a floating restaurant in Regent's Canal, and there were, I think, 40 of us at the lunch. My, how you've grown. And if this is going to be, as I heard His Excellency say, a year of red-hot prosperity, not just for us monkeys, but I hope it is for everyone that's in this room and everyone associated with Sino-British relationships. A very, very happy New Year to all of you, and thank you for giving us this evening, everybody that's here. Thank you so much indeed, Stephen, for giving those of us who are monkeys a wonderful start to our very special year with this dinner. Thank you all very much.
And thank you very much indeed. He's an absolutely divine monkey, and I know Geoffrey would be loving the whole process and the whole evening again. He was such a friend of China, and I think it's very difficult indeed to think of a word which sums up his relationship with the whole of China. He was very much a friend. Yeah.
So now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for being here tonight. Would all those born in the year of the monkey please stand up, but only if you were born in the year of the monkey, and hopefully there'll be a monkey coming your way, and enjoy the little monkeys and take them home. Thank you all very much indeed. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, the formalities are concluded and you're now invited to the cash bar in the Gold Room for networking after dinner drinks. Safe journey home. Thank you for your attention.